Hi everyone, welcome to another video of our SQL fundamental. So today we are continuing on the use case. We are on the part 2 of our banking domain use case. So we have completed the design and creation. So today what we are going to do, we are taking a next step like interest calculation and posting requirement from our users. So let us see how we are going to write a stored procedure that help you to post interest for all the account holders. Before we dive into that functional interesting, I'm so excited today because like we are going to make use of so many functions, things which we have learned in last couple of days. I'm so excited to share this with you all. And first what I'm doing is like I'm inserting some data. So these are like you can insert multiple records like this. I am sure that I haven't covered this. This is called raw constructor, something like that I remember. So you can add multiple comma separated bracket, and like this will insert the 5 records. I have already inserted this, and I inserted these are customer table. Customer ID and created data are not in this column list, not inserting because customer ID is auto identity and created date is default value with get date. So rest of the informations are captured, and here I'm creating different type. I'm referring the same customer ID which exists here because I know what are the numbers, and the customer ID one has like two accounts, one saving and one loan. Customer 2 has only saving, 3 has loan only, 4 and 5 have or saving. So this is like they have some balance which I am setting as default, which you can either set it as 0 because we are going to update the balance based on the transaction in the upcoming query. So I have transactions, and all the balance is going to be transaction, right? So these are my account IDs. This is the first account, the savings one. So here I have a deposit of 10,000 and withdrawal of 5,000. So that means the balance should actually be 5,000. We have inserted 50,000 a garbage value here. And so what we can do, I have this queries already inserted, so I'm not running this again. But I did an additional thing here for all of you to update the account balance of all these accounts according to the transaction, right? So let me take next few minutes to quickly explain you how I build this query, which will definitely help you to run the update queries later. So what was my requirement? I wanted to identify the balance first from the transaction table and update here. It is the subtraction and addition of total, right? If it is deposit and loan, it should be addition because loan payment comes only in loan account. So in case of savings, it is only deposit and withdrawals, right? Yeah. So these dates are dummy. I haven't taken that seriously. I just tried to do only the um, transactions. Yeah. So I have only considered the like a deposit and withdrawal. I tried to sum it up. So I have written a logic. First I tried to get all the account level. This is my balance in reality. So how did I get? So all I did is I tried to sum up, right? I tried to sum all the amount. So here the catch is like if it is deposit, I need to sum directly. If it is only deposit, you can directly sum it up. But when a withdrawal comes, you should actually subtract. So I did the trick here, right? I know when I multiply a number with minus 1, it's going to be a negative number, right? And if you multiply with 1, you are going to get a positive number. So what I did, I put a case condition and I checked, is this the transaction type is withdrawal, then multiply with minus 1, otherwise 1. So this query will indirectly make my amount into negative if it is coming under the withdrawal. So with that logic, which helped me to sum up the number, so if there is any withdrawals, it act as a subtraction. So that is why for the first account you can see 5,000, which is the expected value, right? So then but I only got the result, right, which is from the transaction table. What is my requirement? My requirement is to update this value into the accounts table. So what you have to do first you write a select query, because you know there is a key, that's account ID. Write a select statement and get that select query, right? You join these two tables. Why this is throwing an error? Select star from, okay, I have two from. Yeah, so write the select query, so you will get data matching accordingly from this table. So for the account 1000, for the customer ID 1 savings account, it's showing you have the currently 5000 balance, because I already ran this update query. And you are getting the AMT is from this derived table, or the, you know that, right? Like when you write a entire select statement in a bracket, we call it as derived table. So I have this AMT as a column. So once you get it select right, all you have to do is like update which column, which table you wanted to update. I wanted to update A. Here we are not case sensitive people, so you can write small A or capital A. Then write set which column you wanted to update. I wanted to update balance, and from which column you wanted to update. I have already calculated AMT. AMT is from T table, so T dot AMT, and rest of the query remains same. So if you run this statement, this is going to update the data. So this is how you write a little complex update statement, because we have only learned of updating values directly from variables or values. So this is how you can update a table data from a different table, or maybe a different calculated result set, or whatever you want. Hope this was helpful. However, I was writing, I thought of like summarizing this, which definitely help you to write some interesting update queries in future. Yeah, now let us go back to our drawing board and understand what is the requirement, right? So is something which we have required. So this is our requirement: interest calculation and posting. So what do we need, right? We need to calculate the interest. Let us start writing down. Calculate the interest. Fine. So they wanted to do this for all the accounts, right? Fine, no problem. We can do it for all the accounts. So let us divide this into a requirement. So let us do this for one account. Okay, one account interest calculation. So this when you do this, right, like whatever SQL business logic or any logic, when you try to do it in future, you have to keep in mind, you have to start from very smallest thing. What do you want? You wanted to calculate an interest. I'm saying that I wanted to calculate for one account. So I'm saying that first I need to calculate an interest, right? So what do you need to calculate an interest? I need total balance, right? Then I need interest percentage, like what percentage of interest. And I also need either like for what period I need. If it is for 1 year, this information is enough. But if it is for 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, or for number of days, right, you got to get me that number of days. So what I am going to do, however, like the requirement is like quarterly, I'm going to do a little interesting thing. So like whenever the account is created, I'm going to, when I run this particular command, this will calculate the interest for the number of days the account is being there with that balance. So I'm not taking everyday transaction or anything. I'm just taking the balance and calculating that from the account started date until today. So that is how we are. So we need number of days. This is what you need. How do I get total balance? My plan is to do it for one account, right? So let's tab this. So one account, if I have to get account total balance or balance, I have that in accounts table. Accounts table balance column, right? Then interest is also you will get from the same table, and number of days, as I said, like it is getting the difference between account started date until today. So where do you have account started date? You have that same in the same table as created date, right? So you get all this information from your accounts table. That is what we have understood. Like when you divide this into very basic requirement and you already know the formula, like it is going to be total balance into interest percentage divided like into number of days divided by 365. This is going to be the calculation, right? So if you don't know that, like one step will come here, formula to calculate the interest. Then then you would write the formula I equal to PNR, right? Principal into number of days into, right? Yes. So I guess this is the formula. If not, I don't want to confuse, but yeah. So you build the formula. Then based on the formula, you will go to the step B and identify the data elements required. From that, you will identify from where do you get. Maybe in this case, I'm lucky enough that I'm getting all the information from one table itself. But in some cases, you may have to use join query and go to transaction table, get some information. If you are trying to make this is complicated, right? You may have to, like if you, when the deposited, until the next withdrawal you wanted to calculate for that amount. If your business logic is complicated, your requirement and the way how you have to get each column is going to be complicated. So now let us deep dive. So once you do this one account, you can very easily do it for all account. I'm going to teach that today. So now let us move on to the query window and see how this can be implemented. Or I have already written code for everything. So this is our insert query, which I will be sharing in our location, so which you would be able to use it. I'll save this. Okay, now I have written a stored procedure. So we don't need to start with stored procedure. You can start with query and convert this into stored procedure. I have written it to save the time. So what I need an interest rate, I need balance, I need number of days. These are the three things which I said it in our document, right? So create that, like declare that as a variable, because you cannot do that directly in given, yeah. That's also a good thought process. We would be able to do that directly in this accounts table, given we have all the information. But since we need to learn more functions and everything, I'm taking that out of the accounts table and trying to create this as a stored procedure. So here my goal is not to update the values or anything. My goal is to calculate the interest. I'm going to pause this, right? I'm going to add this as a transaction in my transaction table for each account. We will see that how this is going to work. So you need interest rate, balance and days. You have taken this and you store that values into variable. So I did a little trick here. I just wanted to disclose it. I added 10 with the created date. I'm trying to find the difference. We have a date function, number of days, created date is in the same table, and get date is today's date. Given that I create, like loaded the data today and I am doing this, I'll always get 0, which is going to show a like invalid data. So I just added a 10 with this result, so that like I'll get at least 10 days. Maybe if I run this query after a couple of days, I'm going to get a different result, right? Yeah. So I'm passing an account so that like I'll get this information, and I'm checking if balance is not null and interest rate is also not null. If that is not null, then we are not going to get a proper value. Otherwise, I am setting the interest as 0. And I have these values, and as I said, balance is principal, then interest is like interest rate we are giving, and that is divided by 100. Yeah, divided by 100 into days, and I'm doing it for 365.0. That's, I said we are going to do it for days, right? And what I did, I'm not making any changes into the table. All I did is I have, if you run this query, we will get the result. But I'm not printing anything, but yeah. So okay, good. Let me do this so that you can learn. A stored procedure is not that complicated. I want you to understand. Here here I have like two more variables which is dependent. So let us don't do this. Let's go. So I said I don't want to update or I don't want to change. Whenever I pass an account ID to the stored procedure, I need to get total interest as of that time as an output. Okay. I mentioned in our stored procedure overview, like there are input and output parameters in stored procedure. You can pass one parameter, you can also get output as a variable. So here I said like I will pass an account ID. I don't want to know like what is the principal, anything. Just get me the output as the interest amount. That is what I have run. I created create function command here, and like all this declaration, everything we explained already. So now I created this stored procedure. When I run this, right, I'm running it for account ID 1001. It's giving me an output 143 rupees. So that account has a balance. I'm not sure it's 10,000 or whatever the number. So it's giving me 143 rupees as a like interest calculated as of today, because we added it 10 days, so it's a 10 days interest, right? So this is what the stored procedure does. I know like I can directly run an update statement here in the stored procedure, but I want this stored procedure to be unique, so that like whenever you wanted to see an account's interest, what it would be by that date, you can run this stored procedure. This is not making any changes to your data, right? So this stand as an independent calculated stored procedure. This is not inserting, updating. No DML operation has incorporated in the stored procedure, right? So if somebody runs this accidentally, the stored procedure, this will not make changes in your data. This is just a calculation procedure. So what is your requirement, right? You wanted to have a stored procedure or like a functionality that will post interest for every account, right? You wanted to do this for the entire account. So now you have already built the logic, you know how to calculate, and you are capable to calculate interest for one account. Now all you need to do is like you need to store this interest amount against that account, right? So let us do a little more interesting stuff here. I'm going to talk about something we learned yesterday, that is cursor. So what is the purpose of cursor, right? Cursor will, as I mentioned yesterday, cursor will help you to loop through accounts every time, right? It will go one by one. So what do you need? I know like how to calculate interest for one account. I wanted to do this for all my 100 accounts. So I wanted to do it one by one, right? Because you cannot do this using single query, because calculation happened based on each balance, and you need to post this information in your transaction table for every account. So now here it comes. I started creating my cursor, so I don't need to explain in detail. If you have some confusions on cursor, please watch day 19 video that help you to clarify all these questions if you have any. So I'm declaring my cursor, very simple. Here even I can put a where condition, so that like in case if you wanted to run it only for one account, you can pass that way. But here I'm going to post it for all the accounts. So it comes, it read the first one, and in the loop what I did, I called my stored procedure and I passed that account ID which read from the cursor as an input, and I'm taking total interest from that stored procedure as an output to the interest amount variable. Okay, then I have written an insert statement in the same loop, that is transactions and account ID, transaction type, and I know account ID, it's already there in the account ID variable, so I can get it. Transaction type, I mentioned it as deposit because initially in my transaction table, I did not have int as a transaction type. Now I updated that check constraint. Even the latest query in my SQL statement, it's already reflected. So when if you are doing that create statement today, you should have that int also included in the check constraint. So I added int, and all I need is amount. Where do I have the amount? I have the amount in the interest amount column, right? So this is pretty straightforward. So I'm going to process this. I don't want to be, I'm excited to run this. And I haven't run it before. So I can do this for just one account. So do you know any of the account number? We know that 1001, right? That guy who gave us like 143 rupees interest. I'm going to run this query. Like I have very less hope it may run without an error, but I'm so excited to run this. Okay, one row affected. Where is it? Let's go the transaction table. I'm running the okay. Yes, a transaction table got a new row for this account ID 1001, and the interest is 158 rupees as updated right now, right? So great. So why it is 158 where you got it 143 in our previous calculation, right? So let's run the calculation again for same account. So it's 158. Don't get confused. I didn't make any changes. I'm recording this video overnight, and we moved to the next day. So that is the reason we got a little more interest today. Okay, so we got an additional entry. So here the only thing is like you got the transaction accumulated. Now you need to do this balance to be updated for the person, right? This person balance is not getting updated right now. So that is the one challenge which we need to address. And here I can post this for all the account. All I need to do is like because I did already 101. I don't want to run it again, so I'm excluding it. So we can implement the business logic. If there is already a transaction type in within last this many days, I can skip it. So all that are based on your real requirement. Now all I am talking here is like very high level, how we can implement this quickly, right? Just by incorporating. So I'm putting not equal to. Yes, you can see I have all the interest posting done for all my accounts. Great, I'm so happy. Everyone got interest. And I can, now this is just a SQL query. So nobody can use it. All you have to do is like you have seen that, right? Copy this code, create procedure, put it here. So I'm using this account ID. Okay, I don't even need to. Okay. I can create a stored procedure without any parameter or anything. I can write begin. I can say and. So you can put semicolon or not. That's not a problem. So speak. So I'll say post interest. It's not calculating, right? It is posting the interest or SP insert interest, whatever you can call. So I have kept it. This is not correct. Yeah, I don't want this, right? It should be posting for everyone. So I'm altering. So SP post interest stored procedure is ready. So every time when you run it, this is going to post interest for you for all your accounts. I know like we can make it even like having transactions, having begin try conditions can be added. I will update this code with those things, but I don't want to again make this video longer. It is already around 25 minutes. I don't want to make it even longer and not that excited to watch you. So I wanted to keep this video within 20-25 minutes always. So Here, this is all for today. Now there is one pending item, which is nothing but the balance is not updated for the accounts. So if you run it, you can see that balance would keep remaining same with the whole numbers, but the interest rates were not in the whole. So we need to update, right? When there is an transaction happening, like we did manually the update statement on the other word, like we can add an update statement here. I'm not doing here. What we are going to cover tomorrow, the last requirement from the user is balance needs to be updated for every transaction. So how are we going to do it tomorrow? So let us use trigger. When every changes happen in the transaction table, this is going to trigger and update your balance right away. That is what we are going to cover in our part 3 on the next session, which will conclude and fulfill all the business requirement tomorrow. So I'm excited to create the first trigger for us with the learning which we had. So thank you all for watching. Hope this definitely helped you to get a very clear picture how you are building a stored procedure. We have written a very lengthy stored procedure here, and we also have called a stored procedure inside and another. So this is great, but you have seen how we have started from very small code and how it is expanded. Thank you for watching. Feel free to share if you have any questions or comments, and if you like this, feel free to like, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.